or Turkey, because they decided to change their name a few hours before I started recording this video. Anyway, Turkey, a simply stunning country filled with history, culture, and some of the most beautiful scenery you have ever seen. It's no surprise that up until recently, Turkey was one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world, which went a long way to fueling the massive economic growth the nation experienced between the year 2000 and the mid-2010s. If I was making this video just 5 years ago, I would be telling the story of an up-and-coming economic powerhouse that could geographically and culturally be the link between the riches of the Middle East and the advanced economic systems of Europe. Turkey is the 21st largest economy in the world by GDP and 11th when adjusted for purchasing power parity, which is why it's all the more concerning that severe economic and political mismanagement is threatening to unravel all the progress the country has made in the past 2 decades. For those of you who haven't been following the news, the country is currently experiencing extremely high levels of inflation, which is subjecting the citizens of the nation to almost daily price increases for products that they need to survive. The most unfortunate part of this entire ordeal is that it's almost entirely preventable, and a few simple measures could put it back on track to prosperity very quickly. But unfortunately, it looks like the government of the nation is unwilling to take these steps for a few important reasons. So, why is the value of the Turkish lira falling so rapidly all of a sudden? What impacts will this inflation have on the country's economy? Why isn't the Turkish government taking the widely suggested steps to alleviate this issue? And finally, could this be a sign of things to come in our own economies? Once we have answered all of these questions, we can put Turkey on the Economics Explained national leaderboard. This episode of Economics Explained was brought to you by Skillshare. Another year is coming to an end, and if you're anything like me, you are probably in the process of setting up a New Year's resolution which you will give up on the moment it becomes slightly inconvenient. The reason I find this happens is because learning new things and then applying that knowledge in a useful way is hard. This is where Skillshare comes in. For those of you who don't already know, Skillshare is an online library where you can learn pretty much anything, and you can learn it from people who are true masters of their craft. If your goal for 2022 is to never see the inside of an office ever again and continue the work from home dream, then Skillshare has an endless library of highly marketable skills which you can do from anywhere in the world with a laptop and an internet connection. Even if you do like your day job, learning new skills is a great way to keep your mind active and sharp. The best part is, if you use the link in the video description, you can gain access to Skillshare Premium for free for the first month. So, if your New Year's resolution involves learning a new skill of any kind, you'd be silly not to give it a go. Now, before we get into the inflation crisis in Turkey, I need to make the big disclaimer. This is an ongoing issue which is changing rapidly every day. Case in point, the country literally decided to change its name as I was writing the script. Although, I'm still going to call it Turkey because I'm not entirely convinced that this isn't some kind of elaborate prank. Anyway, this is also a crisis with huge political stakes, which means that some announcements and even some economic figures could be more motivated by political power than the pursuit of accuracy. But with that out of the way, Turkey is no stranger to inflation. In the 1980s and the 1990s, the country experienced inflation rate spikes as high as 140%. The first spike was caused by the country loading up on foreign debt to fuel rapid growth during the 1970s. This caused the economy to effectively overheat while the government ran massive account deficits. The idea was that the country could just grow its way out of this debt by becoming an export powerhouse, which on the surface wasn't the worst idea ever. The problem was